Hey everybody, Brian Boyle here, and welcome to episode 138 of The Mesh. Telling you it is Thursday, and it is almost time for me to head to Hawaii next week. So can't wait, getting excited, and hope you're having a great week yourself. I'm having a great week. It's just been a busy one. You can tell I got a haircut. I got all of my haircut. My wife went a little nuts. And so now I don't have to worry about shampoo or anything else like that. Just need sunscreen when I'm in Hawaii. It's always something around here. But hey, that's I wouldn't have it any other way. So, anybody got any big plans this weekend? We know the Ogden Marathon is coming up here in Utah this weekend. It should actually be the first time in the last couple of years that the weather should be good. Thinking like 38, 40 degrees at the start. Mid 50s by the finish, depending on how fast you're running. Pretty solid, pretty solid. I was just talking with a client today, and we were talking about his goals for the marathon this weekend. As I was talking, however, what I realized is that I'm giving him all of this great advice 2 days before his marathon. Now, what's the problem with most of the advice I'd given him? Well, he hasn't tested it until, well, he hasn't tested it. It's 2 days out before the marathon. So, here's the best advice I can give you. Don't take any advice, no matter how well-meaning it is, okay? If it's going to change your routine on race day, maybe for the better, but if you haven't tested it, okay? Even the best advice that you haven't tested, okay, is only advice. You're going to have to test it and make sure that it's actual proof that it works on you. Okay? Because not everything I'm going to tell you is going to work for you. It's going to work for some people. It's not going to work for others. Okay? The best meaning advice, the best, person that could be possibly out there, somebody could be like, oh, hey, I ran, a 2:02 marathon. I can definitely help you there. Doesn't matter. It's all good. 20 weeks before, 15 weeks before, 2 weeks before, 2 days before. I'm telling you what, if you haven't figured it out by this point, what works for you and what hasn't, then God bless you. It's probably going to be a miserable race day. Suck it up and just deal with it and then move on. But if you start changing things because you're like, oh man, I'm going to start changing things, that's a bad idea. So don't get crazy the day before a race or 2 days before a race. Start looking at stuff and saying, oh, I should change this up, change my routine. Best meaning, the best well-meaning advice is only advice. You got to test this stuff out beforehand, especially if you're going for a PR. If you're just going to run the race, you're just out there to have a good time, then hey, take that advice for what it's worth. But questions, comments, send those to Brian, Brian, at company5k.com. Be happy to get any questions and comments back to you. The answers to those questions and comments back to you. And we'll go from there. Today I want to talk to you real quick about antioxidants. Okay, and in particular, the antioxidants, selenium, vitamin E, vitamin C, and glutathione. Glutathione. That's how I pronounce it. How do you pronounce it? Exactly. So, we know that exercise causes muscle damage, okay? Now, it happens. It's a natural process. It needs to occur. That's why you need rest, okay, to allow the muscle damage. So when you're running, those muscles get damaged. There's breakdown. It has to occur. Okay, so antioxidants are very important in the healing process of this. Okay, of the healing of the proteins, of the muscle, of the body. Now, glutathione is a naturally occurring product inside the body. There is some research showing that the oral supplements, it's kind of questionable as to whether or not it works as well as intravenous. It is offered over the counter in lots and lots of different supplements. If you have not seen it, you can go online and just look up L-glutathione. Very, very, very common. It's one of those things that's kind of like you look in the vitamins and you're like, what the hell's that? What the hell's that? What the hell's that? No idea. And so a lot of people skip over this thing, just because they know, well, I know vitamin C, I know vitamin E, I know vitamin D, I know calcium, but glutathione, what the hell is that? Until you start doing a little research. And so what ends up happening is that glutathione is something that's naturally occurring, but it decreases with age. In fact, the decline is so reliable. It's basically looked at like a human age indexing that you can mark the levels and get a marker of the levels, and you can kind of tell how your body's aging. So that is certainly one way of looking at aging, but it is helpful. It is helpful, as is selenium. It is helpful, as is vitamin E. It is helpful, as is vitamin C. Now, what is the right dosage for you? Well, it depends on how active you are. I would say that probably anybody at 60 to 80 miles per week or above in their running, okay, is probably going to want to go about 2 times the RDA. Now, some of this stuff does get toxic, selenium especially. So, if you start getting up towards like 800 mcg, then you're gonna be at this toxic level. But figuring that about 200 to 400 mcg per day, selenium, glutathione about 200 milligrams, the vitamin E, again, you're probably looking about oh gosh, about 1200 IU per day. Again, roughly about 2 times the RDA as a general guideline, since the RDA is based on some antiquated research and such, and it's more of the inactive person. It's based on a resting person. So if you're higher than that, if you're at 30 to 50 miles a week, or just about that, maybe 1.5 RDA, and you should be pretty solid. But again, this is going to help reduce free radicals in the body. It's going to help with protein, making sure that the protein, the damage that's caused by running, isn't excessive. All right, it should help boost your performance. All right, if nothing else, help your health, so that your health doesn't deteriorate. So that's it. Selenium, glutathione, vitamin E, and vitamin C. Obviously, that's one of those ones that you kind of know more about. You've heard about it. So like fortified things like orange juice and all that stuff. It's all fortified with vitamin C. Your cold medicines and all that stuff give you vitamin C, but it can be helpful for running, especially the week before a big race, when everyone happens to kind of get sick, just because the immune system is a little bit weakened. If you're taking those antioxidants, should help. So that's it. Episode 138 of the Mesh Tongue. This is Brian Boyle. Check out runpainless.com as well. We provide updates on there. If you have any questions, send those to me at brian@company5k.com. Be happy to get back to you with those answers. And whatever you do, please share this with your friends, your family, your training partners, but don't go hurting yourself to come back. I'll see you again tomorrow on Friday. And without further ado, that's it. All right. Take care. All right.